Kentucky is the place I long to be.
Soon I'll be going where the soft breeze is blowing in Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Things will be blooming when I roam where there's room in old Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Where the sky is blue and the grass is too, and the sun...
The freight hauler moves at Mach 2. An entire shipment's worth of spice-laden container vaults trailing behind. Mag-locked to the hyperrail. Pappy, a man you'd once thought of nothing but a land-owning, rocking-chair-rocking gentleman, now plays conductor. He races to load a year's worth of the sacred herb spice 11 before your new mission can be fulfilled. You'd spent your life serving Pappy here on Kentucky 14, a diligent farmhand in the KFCU's Central Spice Farm. You used to take pride in growing 11, until you learned that the sacred spice was sprinkled not on a normosynthetic meat cubes, but instead upon factory-farmed chicken folk. Thinking of the Colonel, once the most finger-licking in your regard, boils your blood, fries it. You'd boarded the train in an attempt to stop terrorists from spoiling this year's spice delivery. But once you'd tumbled with one of their commandos and removed their mask, you learned the truth, and it wasn't mild. It was extra spicy. Now you work your way forward with your clucking comrade, one ex-spice farmer and one chicken freedom fighter, whose name you now know, Shelley. Side by side you hustle, from freight vault to security carriage to freight vault, taking down the Colonel's cabal as you continue forward to Pappy.
You enter the driver's car. Pappy stands by the wheel, back turned to you, gazing out the window toward the FTL launch pad in the distance.
Been waiting for you, son.
He turns and, noticing Shelley, sneers down his nose at your avian friend.
Would you mind excusing your partner here, son? I think this conversation would be best held in more civilized company.
Shelley bristles, and you place a hand out, placating your friend. The bird stays, Pappy. Pappy sighs and turns his back to you once more.
Fine. Do as you like, boy. I suppose I am at your mercy, after all.
He pulls a clove cigarette from his breast pocket, lights it, and takes a deep drag.
I took you in, boy. I took you in from the cold and gave you a job. I never asked you for nothing but your loyalty.
There's another pause. How many birds are under the planet, Pappy? You see him tense slightly, but he recovers and continues on as if he didn't hear you.
But as soon as things became inconvenient, that loyalty turned straight to mashing gravy, didn't it?
You see K-14's 3 moons hanging on the horizon out the window, the sky awash in deep purples and reds. How many birds, Pappy? He stubs out the clove and flicks it through the window of the car.
Pathetic child.
You charge him, gene knife in hand, but as soon as you move, he spins. You hear the hum of his laser shooter, feel the shot brush past your ribs, and collide into him. You bring the knife up, but he kicks it from your hand. It spins across the car, and Pappy is on top of you. Eyes manic, hair flying in the wind howling through the window. He brings his shooter up between your eyes. You tense, but the shot never comes. You feel weight collapse onto you, and you shrug Pappy off. He's dead. Shelley stands over him, a beeping gene knife transmitting Pappy's code to every cell block on the planet. For a moment, everything is still. Then you hear a rustling noise over the wind. You peer out the window, and suddenly, all around the train, birds burst out of metal hatches in the ground. Tens, hundreds, thousands, flocking upwards, waves and waves of birds finally set free, spiraling and looping in the sunset sky, all watched over by 3 moons.
I miss your laurel and your redbud tree.
Deep in the bowels of Kentucky One, once Earth, 1,000 steaming pressure cookers chime. 1,000 grease-burnt teenagers in red shirts slave over them. The used oil bubbles and hisses, flowing between the cookers in a grim tangle of tubes which lead down this endless hallway to a throne. Upon that crimson throne, a being sits, more machine than man, sustained by the grease and fatty juices of countless spiced chicken folk. His suit starched white. He would look grandfatherly if he were not hundreds of years past a mortal lifespan. Behind his glasses, his eyes are cold, black orbs.
Colonel, sir!
The squeaking voice of a 15-year-old on minimum wage cuts through the noise.
We've lost contact with Kentucky 14. We've tried reaching your son, but...
The squeak hesitates under that terrible gaze.
his vital trackers have gone offline.
The colonel lifts an aged finger. He dips it into a small bowl of purified 11 before raising it to his cracked, dry lips. The squeaking teen averts their eyes as the colonel completes the ritual. The ancient body shudders and gasps as the spice floods his system with energy and flavor.
Arm the Zinger Battalion with their hottest and spiciest of sauces, and prepare a squadron of wicked wings to spice swap immediately.
The colonel rubs a second finger of spice across his bloody gums. He grins, slowly, terrified. As the oil tubes feeding his body flow and hiss, he rises. He silences the teen's protesting squeak with a glare of cold, spiced iron.
I've won every chicken war I've ever fought in, child. Bring me my apron.
You take a K and a E, a N and a T, a U and a CKY. That spells Kentucky, but it means paradise.